Hello, have a good Sunday. I am Aurelio Porfiri. This is the Sunday of the Holy Trinity, and we start again to have this podcast with our newsletter Cantus that is being so successful. Thank you to all of you to be so faithful to our newsletter. Today, I want to talk about the glory to God, or Gloria in Latin. So I have to tell you first that I have a certain experience with American liturgies because for 10 years I was the director of music of the American church in Rome. And I remember I noticed that the most famous settings of the Gloria, for example, they lack very much the Mass of Creation or other of the kind. These most famous settings have basically the first two lines, glory to God in the highest and peace to the people um, on earth. Uh, Now I was forgetting because it's quite a time that I'm not using anymore this text. In any case, uh, they were used as refrain. So I of course I know that there are English settings that don't use the first two lines as a refrain, but I saw that the most popular ones they were doing this kind of thing, so using the first two lines as a refrain. But I have to say, and I realize more and more that this is wrong. This is wrong because Gloria is not a responsorial song, but it's a hymn, and it is not an hymn with a refrain. Of course, you can have hymns with refrain, but they are conceived in that way. But Gloria was not conceived in that way. Gloria was conceived to be sung from the beginning to the end. So, why I say this? First of all, the first two lines, as I say, they are not a refrain. Sometimes you may take the first two lines of a given text and maybe they work well as a refrain, but I don't think this is the case. Second, we have the whole tradition of the church that is telling us that the Gloria is an hymn that have to be sung from the beginning to the end without the interruption of a refrain. You take the settings of the Gloria in Gregorian chant, you don't have a refrain. You take the settings of the Gloria in Renaissance polyphony, you don't have a refrain. You take the settings of the Gloria in the 18th century, 19th century, in the 20th century, before Vatican II, you don't have a refrain. As I say, this is the whole uninterrupted tradition of the church where the Gloria has no refrain. Or maybe someone would say, oh, but in this case, they also use a refrain. But we can say, I'm not aware of this exception, but it may be that exists an exception that I'm not aware of, but it is an exception, is not the rule. The rule is that the Gloria has no refrain. Also, because in this case, the Gloria interrupt the flux, the refrain interrupt the flux of the hymn. So, Gloria has not to have a refrain. Also, you think in this case, they don't make a refrain that is meaningful for the whole text. They just take the first two lines. It's like you take a random text and then you select the first two lines and then you say, okay, I use this as a refrain if I want to sing this text. Or maybe they will work, but probably not. And I think in the case of Gloria, you really don't need to have a refrain and you have just to sing the hymn from the beginning to the end and the text as it is in the Catholic tradition. I want to say in full disclosure that in the past I composed Gloria with refrains. Why I did that, I have to tell you, because I was ignorant. I was ignorant, and so I made mistakes. And this is one of my mistakes of the past. A mistake that, of course, I am very careful now not to commit again. And I also urge other people, do not commit these mistakes, because if you betray the text of the liturgy, then you are offering to the people an adulterated version of the same liturgy. And this is a very big sin. And this is something very bad, because the people should participate in the liturgy. We talk about the participate, this very important word. Um, Plinio Correa de Oliveira, a Brazilian thinker, one of the main counter-revolutionary thinker, said that they use some kind of word that are like talisman words, so words that can be used for everything. So, and one of is participation. But what it means, participation, if you take the Latin, participate means being part. But if you want the people to being part of something, you don't have to offer them a kind of inferior version of what are they supposed to participate. You have to offer them the best of the what the Catholic liturgy can offer. And we know that the Catholic liturgy can offer really a lot if it is not abused and manipulated by people that pretend to serve the Second Vatican Council, and they are only serving their own uh, uh, their own will to be protagonist. Not God is the protagonist, but they want to be the protagonist. So I hope that this podcast was of interest for you, and I hope you share this podcast and our newsletter to your friend and to all the people that love liturgy and sacred music. Thank you, and have a good Sunday.